When you first apply to colleges, you think of two different things. You think about this, or your parents think about this. But first, you think about how much should you pay for tuition? When will it be too much? And is this specific college worth the amount of money that I'm spending on? Obviously, Harvard would have a different tuition price than, say, a state school, but is it worth it? Right now, there isn't that much big of a difference. There's a fine line between consumerism and the education curriculum, and right now we're bridging the brink. According to Liberté, universities are being compared to companies, and because they're becoming too much of an influence in these institutions. They say that it doesn't matter what it's called, who's doing it, or where in the institution. It's already happened. Universities have entered the marketplace. The increasing influential cooperation between the business sector and the university is proving to make consumerism and education real. A former president of Harvard University said that colleges don't have specific goals. Then universities may focus on earning the money instead of the ultimate purpose of what a university is altogether, and which is the knowledge that the students should be gaining and how the teachers should be influencing their students. That the education should maintain this oath that they took of knowledge. According to Liberté, the priorities of the university are determined by the big shots of the industry and the administration, not by the teachers themselves that are teaching the kids what they want. The task of an institution is not to be like, buy me, it's all I want, because how they do to make students come to their college campus is by advertising. They advertise. They say, our research institution is the best. Our programs are the best. Our campus is the prettiest. But since the now more students, there's a vast majority of them going to college. 30 years ago, not as many people went to college. There was not this huge influence of trying to educate yourself, and it's basically all driven by money. In the past, there was only a few that could be smart enough to go to school, and there was only the few amount of colleges that can provide the same courses that you want or the classes that you wanted to take to produce your career. But now all the campuses have the same different types of courses, all same different types of classes, and it's hard to differentiate between different types of colleges, which is why they need to advertise, which is why corporations are trying to become and be influenced in these different types of institutions. University of California Television said that even in the research sector, they're being biased by corporations. They're funding their research. They're saying, do research on this type of thing that will help our corporation. So you need to do this, and you'll be biased because this is what we want, which will provide not reasonable results. It's not real. It's basically they're forcing them to do something that may not have the right results that you're looking for. And he's saying that there's a problem with that. The president of Princeton University is saying that this is not okay, especially in this type of scenario. There are many different types of people that oppose, saying that commercialism in the education doesn't even exist. They're trying to basically not accept the fact that money is a driving factor in the decision process, where instead of the teachers and basically the administration, which is changing the way colleges are made. The greatest concern is that most people who run the university, they run it like a corporation. But there is a difference between the corporation and the university. A lot of the times, corporations have a demand and supply situation. They produce what is demanded out of them, but not with the university. They don't get to keep any of the money that people provide for them, that the alumni donate to them. It's all put into the schools, but sometimes it's not incorporated in the right types of parts of the school. A lot of the times they produce new buildings, they produce a new sports administration, but they don't provide new classes and a different curriculum. And Sometimes they even do advertising in a more subtle way, corporations do. According to Site Journal, there are two different types of trends that change the education system to make it more commercialized. First of all, the reason why this is happening now compared to earlier or 20 years ago is that there has become less funding. There's this rise also in expectations of the institution that they should, first of all, have more students that are more intellectual. And secondly, the marketing of the institution influence others, and that colleges now have to meet the attractiveness of a larger group, which is harder. So they need more help from corporations. Since the market has become so broad by these influential partners of institutions, they need corporations not for necessarily the classes and for teachers, they need them for propaganda. In a computer classroom, you have Apple's and Microsoft PCs. If your computer lab has been provided by, say, a MacBook, you are using this MacBook for all 4 years of college. It's propaganda. So you get it for free for 4 years, but then after 4 years, they're going to make you pay for it. They're not going to give it to you for free. That is the whole reason why they donate so many things to schools, is to basically influence them to use it when they can pay for it in the end and they get more money out of it later on. They advertise indirectly through the curriculum. They produce thousands of dollars yearly into the curriculum, giving free yearly subscriptions while in college for their products. And secondly, Sir Ken Robinson from TED Talk not only explained how educators are educators, they should be creative mentors as well. It's hard for educators to know what will happen in the future. 20 years ago, they didn't have this technology of basically indirect advertising, so to speak. They didn't know that 20 years in the future that the corporations would have so much influence on the colleges, that the educators are trying to teach for the future, but they don't know what the future holds. So it's hard for them to know the difference. And right now, that's what we're given. And it's easy to identify these problems within our society, but sometimes we need to try to fix them. The only way to be able to fix this is that to provide the students with the techniques, but also the old skills. Sometimes it's better to use written stuff instead of computer stuff, and teachers can teach them how to do that without the influence of the corporation in that aspect. Corporations have a huge amount of power, but it's the way that we use that and give them power in the end. If administration and educators can cooperate with the state legislator, so to speak, they can lessen the bias within the classroom to make it easier for students on the end as well. Thank you so much.